Welcome to Vermont Sun and Shade. And so, you know what? Probably most of you have heard that our Governor Phil Scott, rejected the request to deploy our National Guard to Washington, D.C. So, yay, and not just yay. I mean, like, I just want to scream and shout and say, look, it takes a lot of courage to do what's right. And especially today, standing up to an administration that is very, very quick to call you out by name publicly and have a whole government kind of threatening you is kind of scary. Just saying. And so anyway, with that, I wanted to get on here. I'm going to read the article to you in about a minute, but I wanted to have a cup of coffee with you. And I want to also let you guys know I'm starting a cemetery series today. We're going to, because for those of you who love Halloween, and you kind of want to come along with me and walk through the cemetery, we'll be visiting a lot of different cemeteries in Vermont. So with that, I'm going to read that article, and okay, the other thing I did notice, I don't know if this is just me, but since I covered the in code, I guess what we're calling music festivals now, a lot of the views have taken a dive. So I kind of expected that, but just being able to get on here and share a little bit, and that is what's going on in Vermont. So I want to be able to read the newspaper articles and share them with you. So I'm going to kind of make a couple of trips here. No, I guess I can do this. So for those of you who are not in Vermont and you're kind of tuning in, it is chilly right now, okay? It is quite chilly. So now I have I'm going to just turn this here. That's the window where I'd kind of like to, now that I have a table, I now have a kitchen table. Oh, good, I see people out there now. I was nervous because of reading the news about the political what's going on here in Vermont. I thought I might be losing people. You know what I mean? I thought they might be cutting me off. But let's see. Hi. Whoops, I just missed your names there. Yeah, so I have this on because I went outside and it was like 57 degrees. So yeah, what we're going to be doing this actually in about an hour. And then, so this is what we're going to do. There's a huge cemetery across the street. And so, I moved up here into Derby, Vermont. Let me get that light off, sorry. Into Derby, Vermont recently. And actually, I'll put this way. I'm sorry. There we go. I'll get it here. We'll get it right there. I think that's better. Anyway, so up here to Little Derby. I noticed really quick so many cemeteries up here, and there's lots of monuments. There's monuments dedicated to the veterans, okay? So after I read this article about Phil Scott, what I'm going to do is we're going to go over to the cemetery, and I'm going to begin a cemetery series for us for like Halloween, because a lot of people love that. So we'll go over there. It's huge. We'll cover just, a little, and it's something I could go over there a few different times easily between now and Halloween. But then there's other cemeteries around here, dedicated to the veterans, and so these are going to be interesting. So here this is the article. I'm just going to flip that. Okay, so Phil Scott rejects a second request to deploy the Vermont National Guard, this time to Washington, D.C. So this is by Vermont Public BBC NewsHour. So if you go to www.vermontpublic.org is where you can get the article. So there's our governor, for those of you who are not familiar. That's Governor Phil Scott. And I'm going to tell you, I want to just give you my view after this, but let's go along here. Republican Governor Phil Scott has politely declined a federal request to deploy Vermont National Guard soldiers to Washington, D.C. as part of President Donald Trump's controversial directive to tamp down on crime. At Trump's behest, the federal government has taken control of the capital city's police force and dispatched approximately 800 National Guard troops, as well as 500, listen to the numbers here, guys, federal law enforcement agents to patrol the streets. Their numbers could have included, sorry about that, their numbers could have included a few dozen soldiers from Vermont, according to Scott Chief Staff Jason Gibbs, had the governor not rebuffed a preliminary request from the Pentagon. And you got to wonder why all this is going on, too. While public safety is a legitimate concern in the cities across the country, and certainly in the nation's capital, in the absence of an immediate emergency of disaster that local and regional first responders are unable to handle, the governor just does not support utilizing the Guard for this purpose and does not view the enforcement of domestic law as proper use of National Guard. Let me just tell you something, people. We are very lucky, okay? We are blessed. Don't think we are not. We are blessed that we have Phil Scott making that decision. And so we're going to continue reading this, but I wanted to stop and say that because that's my sincere reaction as I am reading. I want to share with you my reaction, because if he went ahead and agreed with that, they would be sending next National Guards possibly to our cities, okay? So that's the where I'm at. So, okay, Gibbs said the governor's calculation might have been different if Washington, D.C. officials were seeking federal assistance with an emergency situation. Instead, the city on Friday filed a legal challenge to Trump and administration takeover of its policy force. Well, thank God he's going by the Constitution and he's doing what's right. But in this case, because it's being hyper politicized, the governor doesn't feel like, and I believe vast majority of Vermonters don't feel like, it would be acceptable and appropriate use of the National Guard. And he's right. So we see that in the protesting we just saw the other day, and I guess I'm supposed to use the word, I guess on TikTok they're using music festival as code because they don't want to be, have their views deterred. Okay, it isn't the first time Scott has denied the Trump administration's request to use Vermont National Guard soldiers for domestic mission. Last month, the Pentagon asked Scott to mobilize 12 Guard soldiers to perform administrative duties at detention facilities operated by U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement. That's a scary, scary situation. I'm going to tell you. So now, some of the platforms, again, I do mention TikTok because they are giving us updates in real time over there, okay? Scott rejected the request. Oh, on YouTube also, guys. But Scott rejected the request, saying it was inconsistent with his views of the purpose of the National Guard. And the Republicans' governor's decision caught the attention of a group of retired 4-star admirals and generals who sent a letter to Scott Thursday praising his actions. Well, good for them for speaking up too. We have to keep speaking up. You can't be afraid, and you have to understand that America stands together. We're united. When we're united, I know I'm sounding preachy. Oh, I just lost all my views. Okay. So the letter signed by the people, including retired Admiral Steve Abbott, the former acting Homeland Security advisor to the President Trump, and retired Air Force General Michael Hayden, former director of the Central Intelligence Agency, said Trump's recent requests for the Guard troops represent, look at that in quotes, represent a troubling blurring of lines between civilian law enforcement and military responsibilities. I mean, it is. And look, we don't need to be experts in political and with political jargon and all of it. It is. I mean, you can see this. I mean, my very first reaction to it was, well, wait a minute. Don't we already have the police force and Governor Bowser, the governor in Washington, D.C., about communicating with her, having some consultation. Would be the normal chain of events. Okay, you have consultation with your other agencies, and you get an action plan together. And this is how this is America. This is how we do things. But when you make an overt decision and you're bringing in military, you're bringing in that many to FBI and military or the National Guard, yeah, it's frightening. People get frightened, and we don't want to operate. We don't want to live under fear, right? We don't want that. So I am happy that the governor made that decision, because congratulations, Phil Scott, because that is of nowadays. It's tough to make to stand up to an entire government that is as we see what Governor Newsom is going through. So anyway, with that said, I wanted to share this with you this morning, and I am going to figure out a way to set this up. You can't really see, but the blue there is it's the birdhouse on the tree. And so what I'm going to try to figure out is how to set this up so that we get a really good view of it and maybe get to see the birds. I also have one in the front, and the birds are flying in and out of that one a lot, but it's a little bit farther away from the window. So anyway, we're going to head over to the cemetery. For those of you who are interested, we're going to do a live walk through. Hopefully it's live. Look, I say that, and the last time, I'm just going to flip this, the last time I walked through a cemetery was the phone went dead. My dog I had at the time was very frightened of the cemetery, so the phone went dead and I couldn't do the video, and it was fully charged. So I couldn't understand it. So I went back home and brought the dog back home and charged the phone, went back with 2 devices, both of them went dead. I was able to get about a minute or 2. I'm telling you, cemeteries do have energies in them. Do not think that they don't even mess with it. So anyway, with that, what I'm going to do quickly is just jump over to TikTok and share with them about what our famous hero Phil Scott did. And I know some of you don't agree with it, but if you don't agree, just be civil about it. But I would love to hear from you also. And with that, I send everyone love and light, and I'll see you in the next one.